How do you build a profitable personal brand fast? Not to make $100,000 in 1 month, 3 years from now, but to make $5,000 per month in profit ASAP. So you can work less but earn more. And above all, make less sacrifices, because the best life is the one with the least amount of sacrifices. This is one thing that I found to be absolutely true for myself. You don't have to believe me. Just look back at your own life. So how do we get here? Well, I'm sure you've heard of Alex Hormozi, right? Over here we have you. He talks a lot about giving everything away for free. Now there's a reason for that, because it builds goodwill, which can be simply seen as the positive or negative perception of your audience about you, right? So if you have a lot of goodwill, people think you've provided a lot of value. Now Alex says you should give everything away for free in order to build a lot of goodwill, because that will make you the most amount of money. Now, is it wise to believe that? Well, what happens with beliefs? There's only one thing. There are consequences with everything. And honestly, I believe when Alex Hormozi said you should give everything away for free, that I must do that in order to make a lot of money, which is what we want, right? Let's be honest here. We're not making content for art, even though I have done that a lot. I'm still doing that from time to time. But there is a place for that, and that's not what we're here for. You care about the freedom that you can get from the money. And I think it's a much smarter way to first be free from your need of money, and then focus on art, passion, even though you can be passionate about doing what you want right now. As I talked about, that doesn't have to be a sacrifice. But there's a clear difference, because when you create art, you're not thinking about this. And if you are, it's much wiser to be focusing on this instead. Anyways, to get back here, there's one big thing, well, two big things that you may understand. The first one is hope. Because when you start to follow Alex Hormozi's advice, you give everything away for free, then what happens? You don't make money when you do that only, right? So he says, well, give away the information, sell the implementation. But then that selling, according to him, can't be done in public, should be done in private. Before we continue with this and why this is probably not effective, which is all I care about, for you, for me, let's first look at why Alex Hormozi says this in the first place. Because I consider Alex to be a wise man, you probably too. But to my understanding, Alex made $50 million plus when he started to bank on goodwill. You can almost see that as the new Alex Hormozi, but there's an old Alex Hormozi too, who was selling a lot with gym lunch in his gyms. Just look at his stuff, his content to see that that is true. And when he made the money, he could be in this position where he gives everything away for free. Because of several reasons. Of course, he didn't have the need for money anymore. In the sense of, if you look at Maslow's pyramid, he was not over here anymore, which is the survival part. I won't make any statements on where he was in those other places, because I don't know. But that's the first thing. He didn't need money to survive, because he had enough to survive, right? And the truth is, most people that will watch this don't, or are barely surviving. Now on top of that, of course, he had great resources. He had old team members from his old companies. He had the money to invest in new team members. He right away hired Caleb, who was the creative director for Gary Vaynerchuk, which is just a small detail in the bigger picture that I think Alex doesn't talk about. So I will, because a third thing you have to understand is Alex is biased, just like me, just like you. And Alex has mentioned many times that he wants to get to 1 billion in net worth as soon as possible. I'm sure he will get there. That is his bias. He cares about making the most amount of money after he got this one already. And now just be honest with yourself. Look in the mirror. And are you in the position to build, make content for 3 years, build an audience, all while giving your stuff away for free? So not making any money, because you give everything away for free. You don't sell in public, you sell in private, and you hope that people come knocking on the door so you can sell them in private. And that happens. Let's say you get some serious people, because that's another distinction, right? There is unserious people without money or very little money, just like you, who are knocking on the door and say, give me more stuff for free or for very little money. Give me 1 hour of your time on a Zoom call and I pay $50 or $100 for your time, if that happens at all. Because this model, you call it a model, is built on hope. You hope that after, as soon as possible ideally, but you know this will take some time, that after a period you can be in this place where you maybe make what I talked about, 100 grand during a launch, or perhaps even more than that. Just an example. After 3 years, that is built on hope. Now, it can work out, but what if it doesn't? Then you're 3 years further and then maybe your launch is over here and you make $1,000. These are the consequences of hope. You don't know. And you have found very little truth along the way if it will work. Better said, how you can make it work. To go back to that goodwill is that you can still build goodwill by selling. Because what is goodwill? Goodwill is not giving everything away for free. That's a tactic. Goodwill can be seen as a result from any tactic. And if you give something away for free, it doesn't cost someone money. It costs them time. And that is with everything, also with paid stuff. So it still costs something. What if you sell something for $1? Well, in fact, in someone's eyes, it is worth $500. Then you can see this as a $500 goodwill. Whereas if you give that stuff for free and it is perceived that way as well, it's the same thing. Well, then there's a difference there as well, because there's a lot of unserious people hunting for free stuff, and they usually don't see the free stuff the same way that people see paid stuff. This is, I don't think, something you've never heard before. I won't go into it in lots of depth in this video, but there's a clear difference there as well. When you pay for something, there's consequences on that as well. You usually actually do something with it, you actually use it, whereas if you get it for free, you maybe save it as your watch later video on YouTube, or throw it in a drawer and may use it one day. So this doesn't even have to be true, but let's say that it is for now. Then over here, I actually made a mistake. There's a goodwill of $499, whereas this one is, in this example, $500, right? So you still build goodwill here if you make sure that the thing you're giving for whatever price you ask is just way more in what they get back. So this is a tactic, and this is a result. Or better said, this goodwill. May you focus on the result, which brings me to hope versus truth. I care about truth because truth is effective. And my question to you, why would you trust on hope if you can trust on knowing, when you can trust on truth, when you can trust on your own data, on your own results? Because things don't have to be like this, or worse, like this. Things can be like this. Perhaps a little slower start, but you start to make money fast. So here comes a big thing, because what is really preventing you from this? Is it really this video, this understanding? Or is there actually something that is working against you that you perhaps really want as well? Perhaps even want more than you actually want, the money and the freedom that you can get from that. Well, if I've looked at myself, my past self, and still to this day, I still have it sometimes. It is caring about the external, caring about what other people think. For instance, this one, the comment section. And when you think about this, there's a lot of truth to be found in the comments as well. Because who are commenting? Or have you ever commented? How often do you comment? And I say you because I assume you to be a wise person, or at least intelligent enough to not be a silly Billy who comments stupid things on their videos. But it is the silly billies we read, we hear about. And could it be that the external opinions of others, or even your thoughts about what they would think, isn't that working against your ability to make money? It has been for some big YouTubers. For instance, Hamza, not sure if you know him. He has talked about this, if I remember correctly. Because in order to be here, you have to sell. I mean, you don't have to. I'm not pushing you. That is simply effective. But not if you perhaps sell something for $1. You will perhaps see some comments from the silly billies saying you shouldn't sell. And the truth is that only gets worse over time if you do the wrong stuff. So get clear for yourself what you really want. If it is positive comments for 99% of the time from the silly billies, because those are often the people that comment, or do you care about the money aspect more than you care about negative comments from people? Because you could get them. You don't have to get them, but Alex Hormozi gets them, and he builds on goodwill. He gives a lot of stuff away for free. And then there's another crucial part that I've never heard anyone talk about. But who do you think is more likely to make it? Whatever that is in your eyes, making it. Is it the one who 6 months from now makes $5,000 per month in actual profit? Or is it the one who gets his viral video 6 months from now? And let's say that is 1 million views, which, by the way, I got. Not sure if you follow me for some time already. You probably don't. So I got a viral video of 1 million views on YouTube, a long form video. Well, not that long. It was only 4.5 minutes, I believe. And I got that quickly. I believe after 4 months. So don't pin me on that. I went from 0 to 5,000 subscribers in less than 7 months. And I got this. Not this one from the personal brand. But who do you think is more likely to make it? It depends. If you want views, if you want the fame, you have enough money, then you care about this, right? But let's be honest, are you in that position? Which brings me to content ability versus content profitability. And with ability, I mean their viral ceiling, how much views it can get, how viral it can go. profitability speaks for itself. Now, when you plot these on a graph with viral ability over here and profitability over here, then you probably believe, and we talked about beliefs, you probably believe that this is the case, that the higher the ability that the video can go viral, the more money you will make. And of course, there's a lot of aspects when it comes to the ability to go viral. But let's say all the things are in place. You have the perfect channel set up. With that, I mean, you have already uploaded lots of videos on there about the exact same topic that you always talk about. It's a very specific channel, right? Because that has a big impact. You posted lots of videos, let's say over 100, right? And you already did that for months, perhaps even years. So everything is primed, basically, for that next video to go viral. So in the perfect conditions, that video can go viral. And what is then the limit that video can reach? Now, of course, a video about how do you design thumbnails in Photoshop has a much higher ability to get views than a video about how do you make thumbnails like Imangatsi with a free Photoshop alternative. So that's the ability explained. Hope that makes sense. Then we have the profitability. And what is the truth there? Well, that depends totally on the video. But I believe, you probably do as well, that this is always true. That is something to aim for. To make a video that is able to go viral, because that will likely result to being over here, making a lot of money, either right away from AdSense or in the future, especially that from the people, the audience, the amount of followers. But what happens when your video goes viral? In most cases, well, you need to reach a lot of people. That's a hashtag, by the way, for amount. I know I'm not the best at drawing, but you need to reach a lot of people. What happens when you go to a lot of people? Well, just look at society. What are the masses doing? Are they serious or unserious? Are they drinking alcohol or are they going to the gym daily? And I'm not saying these things are good or bad, but how many people have a lot of money? Because in order to be profitable as soon as possible with your personal brand, it is likely way more effective to focus on less people who have more money. And this depends on what your plans are. I mean, if you're planning to sell a Netflix subscription, something that is similar to that, or an energy drink company, or a gaming thing, then for sure it makes sense to focus on a lot of people, on a very wide gaming audience. Just understand that there are consequences to going viral, aka making videos that have a high ability to go viral, because they are about topics, things that can reach the masses, which are usually not the things that people with money are interested in. Though that's not always true, I know we're talking about what is really effective here. And this is not likely. This doesn't happen in most cases. So what does happen? You go viral, you make a little money, right? CPMs are much lower on YouTube for videos that have a high ability to go viral. Because most videos that go viral, you can just look at the CPMs on YouTube. Just don't believe me. It's a very good data point to look at. But then you also can be over here, where your ability to go viral is very low. There's very low ceiling. Perhaps the ceiling is only 100 views on that video. Perhaps that's the total amount that video can get within the first month, right? And that's very low. Perhaps it's 1,000, just for this example, 100. It can have a very high possibility to make you money. So then the question is how? Well, I won't go over the how in this video, but I have created a workshop where you can find a link below to. Just enter your email and I will let you know when it's ready to access. Because that is effective. Finally knowing what content to create, what titles to use in your videos, or even written content, or book if you're writing a book, or blogs. What product you should sell. And no, you don't even have to create something. I will go over that in the workshop. But it's something you already have. You have already a lot of things that people are willing to pay a lot of money for. And you don't realize that because you're focusing on going viral instead of finding out, knowing right now what people actually are willing to pay for, instead of hoping that you go viral and make a lot of money. I almost get angry about this. I think because my ignorance of myself before. May you start to pinpoint profitable content, because it may be the only thing that really matters. In that workshop I show you exactly how, the practical stuff, the things that work, that are effective. And remember, you only need 1,000 people to live the dream life you've always wanted. And yes, you can have more, but then this one doesn't get that much better. May you just rid yourself of the belief that you need 1 million or even 100,000 people. It's simply not true, and it can actually be way less effective. Don't believe me, just look around. You may find that this is not true and that this is more likely to happen. So may you get in this area, because we don't know when we're not here anymore. And if you found this video valuable, I'm sure you find this one even more insightful. Talk soon.